What it do, what it do. Welcome to the Culture Code. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Mont, aka Dope and White, Outlaw, Humble Dad, also known as HD, Hink, me myself, Lapeef. Welcome to the Culture Code. How you gentlemen doing?
What's good?
Phenomenal.
What's up,
Good.
fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going on? What's going on?
A1 since the day one.
Yeah. Hey. Good to be here. Um, if you haven't already hit the like button, also make sure you subscribe to the channel. What's going on, Mrs. Hink? We got Fifi 2, Metaphysical 77. What's we got? The DJ Fresh Maker. Got most Lamont 6630. Fishing and Fit. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, that's all I'm asking. And if you got to catch this on replay, hit the like button as well. Got a good show ahead for you guys. What's going on, Bo? How you doing, Mrs.? Good show. The permanent victim card, Trill. AC, that's my brother, man. He's been around for a while. We are all familiar with him. So shout out to him and his success. But he was on tonight's conversation episode. And they had an interesting dialogue. Trill says women are treated like children to dodge accountability. So we're going to go ahead and do a stop and play with this one. We're going to go ahead and get in and out, man. So looking forward to this discussion. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe. Y'all ready? All right, let's go ahead and do this.
Yes,
Go ahead
sir.
and get
Yes,
the video queued up. What's going on, Hink?
Man, it's a beautiful day, man. Hey, if y'all didn't know, y'all make sure y'all check out my man JR. He's over on TikTok as well. I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything. IG, TikTok. My man's all over the world. Y'all better check that man out on social media.
Yeah, we had a good discussion, man. Went on for a while. Shout out to Bo, Naomi. They was definitely heavily moderating the show and keeping things in control. So I always got to shout out the mods, man, because if it weren't for them, the show would not roll as smooth as it did. So shout out to them. Let me get this video queued up and we'll go ahead and get to it. All right, you all ready? Here we go.
Often bring up with my clients, I ask them about boundaries, and when we talk about that, especially with men, they'll usually give me F's on all these grades. When we say boundary, we usually talking about boundary establishment. There's three other aspects to it, though. First aspect is just boundary recognition. Being able to understand, I need to draw this line in the sand in some way, shape, or form. And usually the women we with, they haven't had a history of men who've been able to do that. Most men don't even see the boundary or the need for it. Second is boundary establishment. Third, and this is where a lot of us struggle at, is boundary maintenance. If we do say something, we don't come around the block. We don't spin the block every time there's an infraction based on what she agreed to do better. And we kind of just leave it to the air, and over time, we feel resentment. We feel the need to just shut up because she's not doing what she said she was going to do. And before you know, we got a lot of women who have a history of men not holding them accountable. So they don't have no practice. Like we talked about yesterday with Jock, when we asked, was it 80-20? He was pretty much saying it's a lot of stuff I don't bring up. That's part of why there's no accountability.
Trill, do you agree or disagree?
I agree. I think that there's like an implied victimhood when it comes to women.
Facts.
Especially in relationships. If a relationship ends and you don't know nothing else about it, first thought is, well, what did he do to end it? If a man cheats, he's just a horrible person. How can you disrespect your relationship like that? A woman cheats. Well, what did he do to make her cheat? Parenting. If a dad's a horrible dad, he's not in the kid's life. Oh, you're deadbeat. He this, he that, he da-da-da. A woman's a horrible mother. Whoa. Big Mama did the best she could. Yeah. Right? There's an implied victimhood, and because of that, we've been kind of programmed to like see women and like not hold them accountable. That's why even when we were discussing like holding them accountable for things within a relationship, if she starts crying, most men will be like, okay, you know what?
We shut down.
You got it. You see what I'm saying? Instead of like, no, finish the tears, but we're gonna get back to the shit we was talking about. But again, there's an implied victimhood, like she's the weaker vessel or whatever, so we kind of treat her like that. Even as kids, like if a boy does something wrong, we get dead on his ass. I see young boys getting punched in the chest and all type of shit to like make him tougher. Little girl do something wrong, somebody raise their tone to, whoa, 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 don't talk to my baby like that. Who the hell is you talking to? You know what I mean? So it's an implied victimhood. It starts young, and then, you know, we expect them to have accountability as adults when they never practiced it at a younger age.
Now, does these thoughts go hand in hand, though? If we're pushing for a lot of men to be leaders, and we take pride in that leadership, and we also chastise women for not necessarily following said leadership in relationships, is there some sense of, okay, well, those two things go hand in hand? There should be less accountability on this partner because essentially they're not the leader in the relationship. So when you're talking about the relationship failing, what did he do? Is that part of what comes with leadership into a relationship?
I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. My first question I want to pose to the panel: why don't men keep their boundaries after they set them? Why don't men keep their boundaries after they set them?
I would probably say one reason why men don't keep the boundaries that they set is because, what's the old saying? You get more flies with honey, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? You get more flies with honey. You want to still be some sort of nice to get what you want. You dig what I'm saying? If you constantly cutting the wall off, you know, we already have to be this, that, and the other to be chosen, right? You know what I'm saying? As a man, you have to really, you know what I'm saying, do some things to be chosen. You have to be on the right side of women if you want them to choose you, right? So if you being too hard on them before you even establish yourself as the dominant one, you might find yourself, you know what I'm saying, in a predicament. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I think personally why it's hard to keep those boundaries if you aren't stern in your delivery. Some individuals aren't stern in their delivery. Now, I'll be honest, somebody like myself, I'm gonna keep it the same way at all times. I'm stern in my delivery because I know the results that I've been getting are what I'm looking for. But if you aren't sure of that, if you aren't in a position to be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna hold it down, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, you might bend. You know what I'm saying? You might go soft on them, as they say. You know what I'm saying? You might be a little softer on your boundaries. So I think it depends on that particular person, if they are used to holding that ground and holding those boundaries.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I actually shout out to Trill. It's been a minute since we seen him around, but shout out to homie, doing real good. I agree with what Trill and Buddy, the first dude that was speaking, was saying. I think I've been kind of speaking on that for the last 2-3 years, and I've realized that sometimes people hear me saying that men are responsible for everything, and they hear you never hold women accountable for anything. And in my mind, it was implied that you were holding your specific woman accountable, and society was holding us as men accountable. I think maybe that portion of the conversation I just assumed was a given. But to be specific, when I be saying like it's all on the man's fault, part of it being your fault was holding her accountable within the relationship and reinforcing them boundaries. So when I was talking about things like you have to set your specific boundary lines early in the relationship, in the initial portion, included in the vetting. As long as you know she wants to be there, then you need to set your boundaries at that point, because she's accepting to follow those things to stay there once you know she wants to be there. As soon as you know she wants to be there, that's when you kind of start setting those boundaries. And then from there, you have to continue to reinforce them in order for somebody to understand that those are actual boundaries and it's not just suggestions. Yeah, I think they spot on. And yeah, women don't get held accountable by society. It's gonna be a lot of levers most of the time to come in and save them, be it the government, family, friends. And men, we have a different experience when it comes to being held accountable. We might get hurt, deleted, imprisoned, falsely accused. All type of crazy stuff can happen as a male. So we understand, and we try and prepare our kids for that. And that's not the exact same thing we prepare our daughters with. But essentially, when I'm saying men are responsible for everything, I'm saying a daughter that doesn't understand that she has a role that needs to be, her father failed at that point. And if you are marrying a woman who doesn't hold herself accountable, or you can't speak to and get any changes, then you failed as a leader. Not that she doesn't have any accountability, and not that she shouldn't have any structure, but you failed to maintain those things, because society can't hold women in mass. Only the individual man in society holds the man responsible. So I hope that clears that up for anybody who always thought I never was saying that women do anything wrong.
That's good. I would say to kind of add to the conversation, I would say that on the average, men have less options. So having boundaries would definitely sometimes, I would say oftentimes, minimize even fewer options than the ones that they do have, right? So now that puts them in a position to have to alter some of the boundaries they have so that they can accept the options that they do have. It's just a thought. And then as the relationship transition, if he does get someone, now there's a sense of comfortability that he has, and so he kind of lets his guard down maybe, and is more in love or more in wanting to be with her. And then when it gets to the point of I would say marriage, now it's in a situation where he doesn't want to appear to be a failure, even though she has went against his boundaries, because this is the woman that you chose, and it's known in society that it's the man that's going to be responsible for why the relationship ended. So in his mind, I would say potentially he would think, you know what, I failed at choosing wisely, so I may have to reduce my boundaries so that I can be okay. And then now you have the kids that are involved in said situation. And so now I have to drop my boundaries a little bit further now, because I want to be here for my family and for my kids. So I think it changes throughout the duration of the process of a relationship is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Or was you gonna finish saying something, Marcus?
Yeah, I just had a quick thing. I think that's part of the thing that I may not factor in all the way, about the options that you have when doing the boundary setting. But the prerequisite word that I would use is once you know she actually wants to be there. So typically, once the woman wants to be with you, then you can enforce those boundaries. Prior to, because she'll be more receptive to being pliable or molded or whatever word you want to use to going along with what you got. But I agree, it does become very difficult if you don't have an option to continue to just funnel people in and out. So I agree with you.
You don't think that the boundaries should be set, like a man should know his boundaries up front, and then I think that's going to be the challenge, to be able to say these are my boundaries all the way out, right? Like because there'll be some things that you probably didn't even know was a boundary until she did something. You're like, that's not, I don't rock with that, right? That especially young as a young man trying to figure things out. So I would say to somewhat to your point is that you want to know at least 3 to 4, maybe 5 things that you like. These are deal breakers. And if she does these, she don't even get the option for me to enforce them. I'm leaving. That's my thought process.
I know one of the things that before I married my wife was setting them boundaries early. Now, my wife thought, she said, "Oh, you an asshole." I said, "Yeah," and I embrace it. I have no problem with that. But this is what I do and what I don't do. This is what I believe and I don't believe. This is what I said. But then once I explained to her more in detail, because she was asking the clarifying questions like she should, and I respect that. But once I went into more detail on why I felt this way, why do I think like this, why do I move like this? Once she got that clarity, it was a lot better. Then she realized, well, shit, some of his are just like mine. I just may call it something different. I look at it differently like that. But, saying these are things that I had to present to her. Now, look, you had enough time before I even got engaged to you. You could just walked away. If you don't feel like you can live up to those boundaries, those standards, then you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to walk away. And I can accept that. My way is not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. But I feel like I'm for a particular woman who has the patience and the understanding that she can at least deal with it, accept it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and like I shared with her, it's not like it's something that's going to be hard for you to do. You can be respectful, and as long as you be respectful, we can be cool. Don't cheat. Neither one of us cheat. And the third one's, we're not going to use the D word. We're not going to use divorce as an option. Don't make that an option, and this won't be a problem.
All right, I did have another question before I play some more of the clip. Do we treat women like victims without noticing it?
Damn.
I personally don't think so, but I've never really sat and thought about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I treat women as the humans that they are, right? You know what I'm saying? I treat them as the humans they are versus the human that I am. I'm personally the individual that likes to be like, we're not going to say all men do this or all women do that. You know what I'm saying? It's something I bring up every time we in a setting with other individuals, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't like when people try and minimize it to a gender or why somebody acts the way they act. No, I just want to be able to be like, listen, people do this, let's act accordingly. And so that's why I don't want to feel like I treat them as a victim. I treat them as a human, you know what I'm saying, that may have some issues. Just like I know with some brothers that may have some issues. You dig what I'm saying? I want to make sure that we're speaking directly to what that issue is and not trying to blame it on the gender.
Can we get some maybe some clarification so we're talking the same definition? What would you consider victim? Outlaw, what would you consider victim?
Well, victim is, when you start to get into this woe is me mentality where we are speaking to, oh, this happened, so now that's why I'm this way. You dig what I'm saying? The victim. A victim is someone that they're in that circumstance they're in because of something that happened to them. That's a victim, right? And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that we understand that things happen. People are people. Let's adjust and act accordingly to that.
Okay. Because my thought process was, the word that I heard was the weaker vessel. So my thought process was that I think biologically kind of consider them somewhat of a victim. A victim means that they need help, right? That's what a victim really is. There are stages to victimhood, obviously. Like, for example, I would say that men would typically want to open a door for a woman. If we are just people, then she can get her own door, or we don't need to be their provider if they're not the weaker vessel, if you will. We are supposed to be their spiritual leader or their emotional leader and things of that nature if we're just equal. So I would say that we do, and also how we'll hear how they talk to us. We can't talk to a woman how we talk to a man, right? And in the sense of how you communicate with them, because they're emotional individuals, they're typically going to respond to you based on tone, based on if they feel a certain way about you already, and then what you say, because they don't necessarily listen to the words automatically. So I think that we at times, and we sometimes even guard how we say things because we know how it is in our presentation, they're going to consider it. So I think that we do subconsciously kind of help them with their victimhood, as opposed to doing what Outlaw saying he does, is in speech to speak to them just like a human. But that would mean that you would have to identify how you're going to speak to all humans, because even as men, we talk to each other harshly, but we don't necessarily mean anything by it, right? And whereas with a woman, you can't just speak directly all the time because she's going to feel like you meant something that you didn't mean to say. So overall, what I'm saying is I think that we give women more time, more passes in how, in a lot of aspects. And so I'm gonna leave it there, but that's what I think.
Facts. And I could agree with that, but the term victim, right? A victim is a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event, right? victim. That's what I'm speaking of. I'm not going to treat every woman like a victim. You dig what I'm saying? Just because these things haven't necessarily happened to them, right? A victim is somebody that something has happened to, so you almost have to put the kid gloves on, right? You know, but if that has not happened, everything isn't a reason to come up with the victim mentality. So I'm not going to treat everyone as if they were a victim. Now I can mince my words. I can be a little softer on my approach and things like that when I'm dealing with a woman, but I'm not considering her a victim, right? When we start to consider all women as victims, then we give them a certain power, right? We give them a certain power that's not even necessarily deserved, right? You're not a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not. You're simply just not. A victim is someone that some trauma has happened to. And that's the problem that I see that we've gotten into nowadays is that everybody thinks everything is trauma, right? Oh, everybody needs a therapist. Everything is trauma. Oh, I'm so woe is me. Like, bro, everything ain't trauma. Shit happens, get over it. Let's keep moving. Some things are traumatic, yes, but everything is not trauma. Your boyfriend breaking up with you or cheating on you in fucking freshman year in high school is not trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. We gotta draw the line somewhere.
And I agree. That's why I think it's important to have in that part of the conversation, because who determines if she's a victim or not?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're not able to, have that conversation about what is a victim, right, to make sure that we're on the same page. So, for example, a woman who has started something and then is addressed, right, and now she tries to play as if she hasn't did something, I would say now she's playing the victim, because I'm responding to your statement and you did something, but now you're trying to make it as if it's somebody else's fault, right? So I'm gonna put it as that is a victimhood scenario where a woman knows how to be. Most women, I would say, know how to use their feminine ways to adjust how a man responds, right? And so that crying thing that they may do after they have been the one that had said something, or how about the time when a man says something to her about something he didn't like that she did, and then she gets upset at him for being upset at her, right? So now there's another sense of victimhood. So I'm with you. I just wanted to kind of get a clear understanding so that as we have this conversation, that we can move forward easily, as opposed to starting with semantics, right? So I think that based upon societal norms, that we do typically give the woman the benefit of the doubt. And so even in that scenario, we need to teach men to stand on business. If the woman has said something that offended you and broke a boundary, then you need to address her. And like Trill said in the clip, okay, you cried. Now let's really talk about what happened in this situation and how can we get it better, or do we need to move all like away from each other from this situation? So that's my thoughts.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little more clip in there. We'll ask some more questions. Let's go. All right, there we go.
Yeah, like the first woman that ever apologized to me sitting right behind me, y'all can't see her on camera, but my wife is back here. Mm-hmm. And let me ask y'all this as men. Has any woman ever offered you an apology?
Man, listen. Women apologize? Mm-hmm. The apologies that I be getting is, I apologize for how you made me feel.
Facts.
And the apology that I've gotten is, so you want something to eat?
Right.
I know, like, hey, but you know what? Not to take it there. You know the best type of apologies?
You want some head?
Yeah,
you want some head, yeah.
And that is why y'all fail to hold women accountable, because you think with your penis.
That's facts.
An apology to you guys and accountability to you guys looks like solving your sexual desires and pleasures. And so then when problems escalate and they get to the next level, and now this woman only knows how to cry or only knows how to come and serve you sexually, it's not good enough, but that is the behavior that you groomed because of what just came out of your mouth.
True. So with that being said, I believe in letting women not be accountable. I have a women are children aspect of it, and it's not specific that women are actually children, but women are the children of our society. Like we are all ran by men, right? Just the world, right? It's called patriarchy, right? So the more we are able to just look at women and just say, okay, my job as a man is to not just provide and protect, but in some type of way, for a lot of women, not for every, because we talked about this, to father our women, right? And it's actually a good thing. So to a certain degree, if your woman is at work, as an example, and this is an example of fathering a woman, your woman is at work, and she's like, I can't believe my coworker is trying to get me fired, right? As the man, you don't really care because you don't know what to do. But as a man, you say, you want me to come up there and slap her, right? And you're joking, but you give her a feeling of, hey, what you want me to do? You can't do nothing about this situation, but you jump in and say, what do you want me to do? You can't do nothing, but it makes her feel like, ooh, he gonna come up here and slap all you bitches.
Let me tell you my problem with that.
Here's what it comes from, though. It comes from how you take care of your daughter. I have 2 daughters. If one of my daughters, like when they were little, say there's a boogeyman in the closet, I'm not gonna say, well, logically speaking, there are no boogeymans in closets. That's what a lot of men do to women. Well, there's nothing I can do. No, you jump into it. What? There's a boogeyman? And you go in the closet, you open the doors, and you act crazy or whatever, and you say, baby, I just took care of the boogeyman. Now you can go to sleep. And she goes to sleep. And if you do the same thing to your woman, guess what? She feels protected even though you ain't do nothing.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. Question I got for the panel is, did men teach women that sex fixes problems?
I don't know if we teach them that, but my thing is, I feel like as a man, one isn't really dependent on the other. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I don't equate fixing problems through sex. Sex is something completely different. Sex for me is a physical thing that I want to do because I like it and it gets that up off me. You know, you dig what I'm saying? It doesn't have anything to do with how I feel, if I'm angry at you or not. You know what I'm saying? I just don't equate the two. It's not a emotional thing for me. You dig what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm happy or not, if I'm sad or not, if I'm angry or stressed or whatever. I'm still want to do it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's one is not correlated to the other, if that makes sense. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I want to do it because I want to do that. You dig? I don't. And that's something that a lot of women don't understand. Like, for me, that doesn't equate love. It's not about how I feel, if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood or whatever the fuck the case may be. That's just something that I want to make sure I do. Like, if I'm pissed off, I'm still want to eat. I'm still hungry. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at that. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to the panel.
All right, I got another question. I know Mr. Lego always say women are children. Are we raising women to act like children in relationships? You on mute, DJ, just so you know before you start talking.
I can agree.
Yeah, I was just waiting.
If you're not willing to accept a verbal no before you get, say, for the example they gave us, some sex, we're pretty much saying the sex is going to solve it all and make it all right, and it was okay. So, yeah, I guess we are kind to enabling some of these women by letting them get away with that shit. Now, you can say sorry to me, and now we can get into it. You know, so let's get down. But it should come with an apology first before I accept your advances of intimacy. As far as your question you just asked right here, JR, and if you could repeat it, I kind of forgot the one.
Yeah, it's, are we raising women to act like children in relationships?
Jesus Christ. I got to say we are doing that too. Because if we're not holding them accountable to certain things, especially whatever standards you have set, we are. we let them slide by not acknowledging it, bringing it to their attention, and just sweeping it under the rug. I think we are. So I'll leave it there.
Okay. All right.
I would agree largely with Hamp that if we are able to have the
It's Hink, brother. It's Hink. It's Hink.
What's that? Does that mean you can't hear me or Hink?
No.
Oh, my fault, brother. My apologies. I be on YouTube quite a bit. But yeah, I would largely agree with Hink that if we're not willing to have the tough conversation in the beginning, we are leading folks to believe that it's okay. If any brother's ever been through those particular situations where you have the argument, then you have the makeup manipulation, whether it be food or smacks, then if you don't say anything prior to that, and you definitely don't say anything after that, it can be led to believe that everything is okay. And that behavior has now been reinforced that even if you do something in the future that goes against the boundary, it is a fail safe that you can use in order to get out of there.
So are women really trying to make it up with sex? I mean, typically what I've seen most often is that usually be the guy kind of initiating it. I've never seen a woman too much. I guess it all depends on the situation. I'm just trying to think of a time where I've seen women actually want to give it. Usually when a woman's pissed off, she ain't trying to do nothing.
Right. Like I said before, it's never a time. I won't say never. That's wrong to say. Oftentimes, the woman doesn't typically allow the man to be upset. Right. What I mean by that is, if I'm upset at her, if men upset at women, then women will say, become victims and be in the mindset of, okay, I'm not going to let this be me, you being upset at me. I'm going to flip this so that I'm upset at you and justify the situation. So to go back to what you're saying, JR, I don't see that them, because they're going to be upset regardless, right? Whether it's something you did or something that they did and you confronted them on what they did. So then why would they initiate sex? Now, there may be some women that do that, but I haven't heard that to be a thing. However, I would say that they may do an act of service. It may not be sex. Like when time passes, it may be, a hug or a kiss. It may be made dinner, maybe went to go buy you something, right? To try to soften it. I think it is because I was reading argument styles, the different argument styles. Some women are not necessarily gifted in the matter of saying I'm sorry. I'm glad that I have a wife that does say I'm sorry. I apologize for that when I have addressed her on something, right? And she sees now when she sees that I get over things a lot easier, knowing that she has apologized, because I am, as a follower of Christ, I'm supposed to forgive, even if she didn't ask. But it makes it that much better when she does apologize to me, and not try to do the okay, let me get something for you, because it still doesn't address that we had an issue. And so now I do believe that men have been conditioned to accept the service act as opposed to addressing something, because most men would rather try to keep peace, and the peace that they think that they're keeping is not addressing the issue, when in fact not addressing the issue, that will breed, if you read any psychology information, you will see that breeds resentment later on. And then now you're festering resentment, and she don't even know she's doing the thing that you said was okay, because you're being passive instead of being assertive in what it is that you wanted to talk about.
All right. I agree with that to a degree, Humble, but I also feel like, look, we as men, a lot of times we don't really. I'll be honest. If my wife gives me the silent treatment, I could potentially care less, right? My thing is, get back to acting normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need you to necessarily apologize to me, but I might say what I need to say, tell you how I feel, and now get your act together. Even if you don't necessarily apologize to me, your changed behavior is a result of our discussion. You dig what I'm saying? Like, correct the behavior, right? You know what I mean? So I don't really I personally don't necessarily care about the apology, but that could be an issue too. Maybe I'm just not used to getting that apology. Maybe I'm just used to getting that changed behavior. But all I really care about is change your behavior. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the words. Do different. Don't tell me you sorry and do the same thing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little, I guess I'm kind of on the fence with that one. You dig what I'm saying? But it's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, I said what I said. This is what I mean. Fix it. Let's move on. And for me, I feel like that works best. I don't necessarily need you to say, oh, I'm sorry. You can say that because a lot of women say that in other ways, right? They say that by the submissiveness. They say that by the not doing that again, or whatever the case may be. So necessarily the I'm sorry, doesn't really do it for me. I'm not even like, I personally don't teach my kids to say I'm sorry. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry is different. You dig what I'm saying? So it's just, it may be semantics to some people, but to me it does matter, and those things matter. And so I'm not really worried about the what you say. Show me what you do after that. You know what I'm saying? Show me how you change your behavior.
I think that's good what you're saying, right? I think it's somewhere as a matter of both can be, in the sense of, I think it's determined by, man, everything is so based upon how we was raised as kids, So when you say what you're saying, it makes sense to me, but to me, the apology matters with the action, right? That's me, right? Because that's what I'm going to try to do and emulate. That if I did something wrong, I'm gonna apologize, but I want to make sure that my behavior follows, right? And so my expectation of others is the expectation of myself. So I'm totally not in disagreement with you. I'm saying that, and every man should say, okay, what is it that's going to be in my wheelhouse of what my boundary is going to look like? Am I going to want an apology? Am I going to tell her, listen, I would rather you say I want you to say I'm sorry and then an action change, or is he going to say, listen, I don't really care about your sorry. I need the behavior to change. Whatever the matter is, it needs to be the conversation of how y'all going to be able to move forward. Because if it's not addressed in some regard, right, then we're building the rules by osmosis when that's not going to be healthy for the relationship.
Yeah, I just want to add to it too. That's why I think the foundation is very important, and a lot of people don't understand that until they're trying to enforce certain things, and it's really not working in their favor because they already created a pattern or a habit of this is how the response typically is. So you need to understand what your boundaries are, and if you notice anything, then you got to speak on, and have a conversation about it. Always be careful too, or to be able to check this right at the beginning when somebody labels a conversation as an argument. It's not an argument. We're just having a conversation and we seek an understanding. Nothing in life is 100% guaranteed. So even though you have these conversations, it's not a guarantee that change is going to happen overnight, because change typically doesn't happen overnight. If somebody's been doing this for the past 40 years, let's just say y'all dated, married at 42, it's going to be difficult for somebody to turn it off. So everything is always situational, and things that I look for sometimes, depending on the person, is effort. If you got a person that's been typically an asshole, then you might have to make another adjustment. That's why in real time, you got to be able to understand what's happening. So even though we giving some advice and telling people our perspectives, it may not particularly work in your situation. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. Some things may work. You might got to tweak some of this advice. You might have to be unique with that person. Everything is always situational because everybody is different. There's no one blueprint that fits all of it. So the foundations set it in the beginning, and somebody else made a point as far as giving context as to why. I think Hink said it. Like, my wife understands the reason why, and sometimes people may need that. I give additional context without somebody asking, and I even ask, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" Yeah, I understand. What did I say? I do this with my children as well, because I need to know that you understand the reason why, so that if this ever comes up again, I have a higher chance of you not repeating it again. Because if you don't understand it, it's not going to make sense, and you're not going to do it. You're going to just keep doing what you've been doing because there's no logic behind it. And again, this and with this, it's not 100% guarantee, but I think you can strengthen communication and strengthen like the foundation, the boundaries, in hopes that it will play out this way.
Dope. So, Peef, you just said you do this with your children as well. So, are you saying that we treat women as children?
I mean, if you want to have some shock value, I think that you would say that. But I think a lot of people I think it doesn't hurt to give additional context. So I don't wait for somebody to ask me or to assume. If I put the more information I give them and I put out there, then I think things would be clear. And if they still do what they doing, then it's like I laid it out perfectly. So what happened? I may try to seek a little bit more additional information as to how their thought process is, but in my opinion, I've laid this out. And you got to be careful too, because I've had this happen as well. You have to have a backbone when you are dealing with certain people. You have to be comfortable with relying and laying in your logic, even if it seems as though they may be trying to twist it up. Because I've seen cases where if you stand your ground, it comes off as strength. You know, they might have been testing you, they might have been trying you, and that respect factor is heightened because you didn't fall for the okie dokie like everybody else done. So if you're a sound individual and you know what you know, I'm not saying I have an open mind, but you got to have some type of discernment. You got to have some type of wisdom at some point. Not everybody got it, but I believe I got it. And so I don't have a problem standing on ground with certain things. If it makes sense, if it logically makes sense to me, and I have a certain way that I process things, if I process it in 6 or 7 different ways, looked at it 10 different inputs and outputs and play it around, like, nah, I gotta lean this way. And I lean on it. And that's why the foundation is important, because it's a respect factor too. If a woman doesn't respect you, she's not going to yield to anything that you're saying. So it's going to be difficult for you, and you're going to struggle with that. So you have to lay down a foundation where, and it's not hard, it's just you being you. If you're doing anything else and trying to be something that you're not, and then she's gonna 9 out of 10, she's gonna see that. And if you're on some fuckery shit, she's just not gonna respect you. And you might as well just say that it's gonna be hard for you to get the results with that woman because she doesn't look at you in that way. When a woman looks at you in that way, if a woman's coming up to you and she asking you, hey, I was thinking about doing this, what do you think? She's that's when a woman comes to you, I can't even explain that feeling. And some men have yet to be able to experience that. But if you have a person coming up to you, asking your opinion before they do said act, that's respect.
Hey, I see you, JR. Hey, man, you should have gave yourself a round of applause for that. Something. If somebody else gonna go on that question, because I had a question myself. When you're having the conversation, does somebody want to go on that question before I say something? All right, cool. So standing on, it was coming from what you were saying, JR. So how would you respond, gentlemen, to the woman when she says you're being controlling? Right? You're standing on business and you're telling them this is where you are. What advice would you give to a lad, or even dudes that just don't know what to do in that situation, of when they say, man, you being controlling?
Well, you have to do something before it gets to that, because I have to understand what control is as well at some point in time. And it is about how you say it, right? So I'll tell somebody what I don't like, and then I give them the choice. If they're paying attention to you and respect is there, you may say, I don't like this. I don't like it. You're not telling them what to do. You just tell them this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I expect. They can do whatever they want to do, but you're still giving them the choice, and there's no way that they can look at it as control. So you're minimizing the risk factor of them saying it's being controlled. Now, once you get a little bit like into the relationship, you may have to give some orders that may come off like a command. And if she respects you, she's going to understand that there must be a good reason why he's doing it, but you got to kind of build up to it. Sometimes it's just not directly there. So that's why the foundation is important in the beginning. And when you orchestrate it in a certain way, 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't have to ask for no respect. It's just going to be given. You're going to notice it. If somebody is not trying to come up under you, you will see it in the beginning. Now, whether you being hard-headed and ignored, then that's on you. But typically a woman that has some sound sense and, you know, she has something about her, it's going to be there. You don't have to go back and forth to fight it. There are some women who are going to look at you and they can't follow up under your leadership, and that's okay. It's not meant for everybody to be able to follow up under your leadership, but you stay away from them. The ones that you do entertain and you date, it's going to be a no-brainer. It's not going to be difficult.
Yeah, I agree with that to a degree, but I also want to kind of put it out there like, listen, if it's a woman that really respects you and wants to be with you, she's going to take your opinion into consideration in everything that she does, right? You know, you dig what I'm saying? If I say, hey, baby, I don't think that's appropriate for you to wear. If she loves you, she respects you, she's going to take heed to that. However, if she thinks that you're trying to tell her that because you're controlling, then it's probably a problem in her background, right? My daughters, I'm a father of 3 daughters, right? I will tell them that in a heartbeat. Nah, that's not going to happen. Nah, you're not wearing that. No, I don't like that. Whatever the case may be. You dig what I'm saying? You give them proper guidance because it's out of love, not out of control. When they understand what out of love looks like versus out of controlling, then it's a little bit easier for them to understand, I think, right? You dig what I'm saying? It's easier for them to understand that coming from a man that they think is courting them versus a man that just wants to control them. You know what I'm saying? It can look the same, but it is still very different in the way it's presented. So I guess that goes to what Lapeef was saying, how you say it. But my thing is, the hell with how I said it. I said, no, you're not wearing that. That look like some bullshit. You don't want to wear that. You're not going out to the club and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I might say that directly to my daughter. That don't mean her boyfriend gonna say it to her like that. But she should still get that same message, right? Because it's a reasoning behind it. You don't want to go out looking like just so anything. You don't want to put yourself out there looking like you are valued less than what you are. You dig? So you know it matters when it comes down to it, but a woman of value understands that already. She should just want a man that really wants her to really express that the right way. You know what I'm saying? A man. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So I think daughters are different. You know, I think there's hope. They haven't had that much experience and then, you know, you define it, but the foundation is important because if a father is not active in that daughter's life or daughter's life and you're trying to come in, trying to give some instruction, she's not going to yield to that. I have my daughter, she's 15 and I get it. You know, you try to come out here and she got long legs. So I'm on her ass. But the one thing that she's going to recognize as she get older is that there's basically some consistency in what I'm saying. And she's going to probably think about it as she get older. I'm not letting up. You go ahead and change that or you're not going nowhere. Now, they're going to still give you pushback because it is what it is. But I think you have more of an impression when it comes to your daughter, especially if you're an active father. When it comes to women and you're trying to give instruction, they've gone through so much. And that's when that respect factor is very important. If she doesn't respect you, you're not going to be able to tell that woman what to do. So it goes back to the foundation. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I agree with everything y'all been saying. Y'all been cooking. I think to answer that question directly, how I would you speaking to her, because all the stuff y'all said is true and prerequisites, so you don't even get to that question. Like once if you being respected, she'll just change and won't even get into that position where you have to explain it. But if I had to explain it, I think I would say, if everything I love that's gonna be a part of my family, I would want to protect my kids, you, and part of that is being able to say, this is not right or that's right. And if that's a problem for you, then I'm probably not the right man for you. And let her choose from there. You can't be afraid to walk away. I think that's where a lot of the issue, like we make a lot of exceptions for a lot of stuff because we're afraid to walk away and say, you know what, this is just not it. I'm gonna force this issue. It's not worth torturing yourself or getting in a situation where you can't walk away cleanly based off her showing these signs early on. If she's asking you a question like that, that's a hard line conversation. And you can get a hard line response right then and there. Like, hey, this is how I plan on. I don't want my wife wearing XYZ. I want my children to operate like this. If that's going to be difficult for you, that's fine. I respect you. You can live your life how you want. You just won't. It won't be with me. You don't got to curse out. You don't got to be mean. You just, tell it what your expectation is. That would be an example of setting that boundary. So when I be talking about the boundaries that men have to set for women, that's one of them. Saying like Humberdeer said earlier, hard line. Hey, I don't want to see this in my family, and I'm not even judging you for it. It's just not for me. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be abrasive. You don't got to be demanding, none of that stuff. You just stand on.
Mm-hmm. And that's where that confidence comes in too, Marcus, because I think that's an excellent point. And not every man is able to walk away, so they don't even know what that even looks like as far as standing on something. They're going to probably conform to whatever it is that she's saying because they don't have no backbone. But if you don't have to have what society, you got to be comfortable with who you are because it ain't gonna change. I don't think there's some things you could change, but there's some physical things you can't change. You can improve on some certain things, but you got to be comfortable in who you are in this world and understand that you can improve in these things. And if you are a man of substance, whatever that may look like, and you understand how the dating market goes, then I think that you have a little bit more confidence. And so when you find yourself in these situations, you can walk away. But somebody that don't have a backbone that hasn't made any improvements for self, then I think it may be a little bit difficult for them. So, but you'll be surprised at the results you can yield when you stand for something, because women do recognize a strong. He ain't falling for that bullshit. He ain't called me back. It's just like, okay, well, this is what it is, how I look at it. And I respect your decision. I respect whatever you're saying. You leave it at that. But if you're a good, solid person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to stick around. Or at least you can have a chance to either do like a redo where it's a better outcome. Let me play a little bit more of this video so we can go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, as far as talking about walk away, man, that's great advice. I tell a man in a minute, leave a woman at a restaurant for what? Leave her ass at the goddamn restaurant.
Leave her ass.
You leave her ass at the goddamn restaurant. That's what you should do, because you know why? Because if it's what you stand on, that's what you stand on. But you got to be willing to do that, like you said, and not be afraid of the consequences. When I tell men to ask tough questions, don't be afraid of the consequences. Don't be afraid of the answers. Accept the answers what they are. If they're not to what you're looking for or what you expect, you got to make a change. Now, maybe you can convince her, have a conversation with her, and give her a different mindset, a different thought, maybe. But if that woman is not worth even mentioning, I'm not going to give you no closure, because you don't deserve closure, man. You deserve what you get, and just let it be.
My problem with that is women are adults, and I expect some accountability.
Facts. Come on.
And while I understand why we got there, right? What systems were in place to get women there, I understand that. But it's super frustrating inside of a relationship, because again, that woman that uses that sexualness.
No, that man that wants it. Not the woman that uses it, the man that said that this is what accountability looks like to me.
That is it.
Yeah.
It's us.
Mm-hmm. Babe, I don't want you to get me anything for my birthday. I want you to come and give me some head. I don't want anything for Valentine's Day. Just show up in your birthday suit
And
just
when
how I
she
like
doesn't
it.
give
And
it
when
to you, mad.
when you upset me, you know that's gonna cost you like 2 weeks of no questions asked, right?
What we're gonna do, first of all, yes, I believe inside relationships, women will use sex as a form of punishment and will reward. Period.
True.
And so that does groom a man, and I know that women know that happens.
It's
So when you're putting a man, when
value.
you're even inside marriages, some women would put their man on like a sex restriction. You did something, and what I'm saying is, you know what that is doing, and so there is some manipulation in that. And when we don't acknowledge that, and then we say, well, that's because that's what you groomed. That's the point of this conversation. There's no accountability because that is essentially
culpability
wrong
on both sides.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's right to do. I'm not gonna ask y'all, have y'all ever done it? But that stuff happens in relationships. Like, yeah, you feel like you don't need to apologize because you know what? I'm gonna just give him some. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put it on him, and then that's gonna be my apology. I'm gonna come cooking some eggs. Hey, you want some eggs and shit?
I am a person who values apologies. I value communication. So with your mouth, I need you to apologize to me, and in return, I'm going to apologize. But if in this relationship, this man values sex at that level for every little thing. It's like if you're dating a woman and she values money and gifts and she does something wrong and she's not necessarily apologizing for it, you're going to withhold the money and the gifts and the treats and the trinkets and all those things. If I'm in a relationship with a man whose sex solves all the problems, then yeah, I mean, it's not right, but that's the manipulation tactic that's hell. If you told me I need to hear it out of your mouth, verbally, apology, and that's the language that we've communicated to each other because that's what you value, that's what I'm going to give you. But oftentimes men
That
do
is
what
not
you
what
just
you
said.
gonna give me.
And that goes past value because a lot of times it's not just that the sex is valuable. A lot of men don't know how to say that. They feel fear to even be able to say that. A lot of times y'all know that as women that we are defunct in a lot of ways in communicating these things. So there does need to be like a little bit more coming to our side of things to understand he probably not going to say it to me, so I need to spark this conversation.
But to Donnie's defense, isn't that a you issue?
Absolutely.
Isn't that?
Absolutely.
See, let me say something about
women going into these relationships knowing that.
But before.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. You know, why don't couples talk about what apology should look like?
I don't know about couples. You know what I'm saying? I know some possibly do. However, in that scenario, if she's thinking that withholding sex is going to get her a better outcome and that's how she controls her man, then you can expect her man to figure it out another way. Don't play with me. You dig what I'm saying? Don't play with me. Play with somebody else. You dig what I'm saying? Because that's only going to put me in a position to figure it out some other way, right? Because I have, as a husband, you have committed yourself to this woman for the rest of your life. And for her to try and withhold something like that and think it's no big deal, that's fine. Play those games if you want to. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's all I really got on that. And if she can't understand that, if she thinks that's equivalent to a man withholding, what did she say? Getting her hair done or
money and trinkets.
Financial. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Money and trinkets, then that's the bigger problem. Then you're obviously in this for the wrong reasons. Because if you think your sex is more beneficial to you than my sex is to you, then we have a problem, right? If you think that's a reward for me and not something that we both enjoy, then to me, that is a problem, right? You dig what I'm saying? But, you know, that's something that they like to think because what women are taught coming up is they're the prize. They're taught that that is the most precious gift that they can give a man and so on and so forth. And why that may be true to some extent, that's not something that once you're in a partnership, that I hate that term, but if you're in a marriage, that's not something that you should be looking at. That should be something for the both of you. But if you think you're going to withhold that as some sort of punishment, then I feel like it's only going to cause more stress and strife, and it should be that way. If you are going to withhold that as some sort of payment, then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I think it's the statement is based on just manipulation from both sides when it comes to money or the sex. So you actually never really solve a problem. You just learn how to manipulate each other on the surface to where you all are just playing around. You're not essentially getting anywhere. You're just going in circles, being toxic, and not actually having the tough conversations it takes for you to get to the next level. So in actuality, neither one of you are really being serious if those are the tools that you're willing to use in order to get what you want.
All right. Anyone else before I play this next clip? All right, let's go to continue then. What up, Cole?
What's up, fellas? How
I
y'all
know where you
doing?
about to go. Okay. What I'm saying is, let's stick on women. And that's the point that I'm trying to say. Every time we talking about women taking more accountability, it always flip back on what we need to be doing. Instead of women saying, you know what, it may be not right to use this sex thing as a tool in this aspect, right? Okay. Maybe it's not right for me to, when he is trying to communicate, to try to shift blame, throw it back on you, maybe cry, minimize. Maybe it's not right that I find that maybe he apologizes 10, 20 times more than I do in this relationship. And if that is not a self-assessment, because I don't believe women are children, I believe they're adults and they're functional adults in these relationships. And I believe, my opinion, that sometimes some women pick and choose when they want to be equal partners. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so maybe the question is to the men, right? Is what does accountability look like to y'all from us, so that we have a better understanding of what that is? Because for some women who are, deeming accountability as sexual acts, maybe in her idea of however she was groomed, that's her belief of what she's in alignment with. But maybe the communication is, okay, so, what does accountability look like for you, baby? Is it an apology? Is it a long, effective, communicative, conversation? Is it sex? What is it, so that that woman is communicating your apologetic language and not just whatever her idea is? Because if she had no father or she had no man who can give her the guidance, then she is coming in with the blank canvas, and it is your responsibility to at least communicate that to her. This is what works for me. And if she's willing to put that effort in, I think that is just called a healthy relationship.
For the sake of this argument, we're gonna act as if my apology language isn't head, because it really is. But for the sake of this,
You can't go back to that after you.
For the sake,
Come on, bro.
of this conversation,
You are that guy that I'm talking about. You're not playing though.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay, so then what is your apology language? What is your apology language?
Man, just
That's a great question, by the way.
So
my apology language is just actually apologizing. And here's the thing. I think I found that even in the way I operate, I'll apologize for things I don't know if that I'm not truly sorry for. Hear me out, but I think a lot of men get here. Just hear me out. Maybe y'all can relate, maybe y'all not.
Okay.
I'll find something in this dilemma that I could have done better. And I'll just find that to say, hey, listen, you're right, man. Like, I apologize because this, I could have did better, blah, 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 blah. I'll find that because I know this is a person I care about and they have a real concern. And I don't want to leave this without giving something that I can improve on with this critique. What I am saying is, I want somebody as eager to find something in my issue to give me an apology on.
But what does an apology?
I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. The first question, I got a couple questions for the panel, and that was very excellent dialogue. What does accountability look like to you?
One thing about accountability, bro, I feel like it's usually a one-way street, depending on what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, let's just keep it real. Men are the ones that have to be held accountable. We have to admit that our wrongdoings, what we would do differently going forward, and so on and so forth. However, on the opposite side of the spectrum, that's not necessarily something that is highly publicized for them. A lot of women don't have to admit their wrongdoings.
Well, the question I'm asking is, like, what does it look like to you when a woman is accountable? What does it look like to you?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
I think you answered it.
It's not something that they normally give. right? That's not something that you normally see. So that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. A lot of times they won't physically say it, they'll just change their behavior, right? They'll just try and act like, oh, they'll show you they're sorry, but saying it is something completely different. You dig what I'm saying? They're not going to say, oh, I apologize. I hold myself accountable for what I've done. That wasn't right. Let me change that. They'll just try and act different. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I mean. It's not something that they necessarily say. They may show it, but they don't necessarily say it.
But you said it before. You said how you. I think Marcus was going to say this. You said it before. Accountability for you is a changed behavior.
Yeah.
So that's what you said before. So that is what accountability is to you, right? Is that
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Then they may not ever say it. They may not ever
Right.
say,
That wasn't
"Oh,
the
I'm
conversation.
sorry," or "I was wrong," or whatever the case may be. They just may change that behavior.
Right. That's what we're saying. We're talking about. He
Yeah.
was asking us specifically, what is ours, not necessarily of women. But so we got yours. So mine is what I've stated prior. Accountability to me is communicating what I saw was wrong, and us having a conversation about what would this look like differently next time, so that we can avoid this. Because I believe, and it may be because of being in education, maybe, is that if I just say that I'm sorry, and I say and I try to change the behavior, well, is it the behavior that they were looking for? Was it the behavior that I was looking for? If I don't talk about how could we have avoided this conversation, or how could we have avoided this event or situation, however you want to put it. So I would say for me, it's to have and it may be long-winded because I'm long-winded. I'm only short because JR tell me I got to be short here, right? But I would say let's have a conversation about how this could have been, and so that we can avoid this situation next time. And then when this is also the other part, when you see them change, make sure you let them know, hey, I see that you did this differently than before. I really appreciate that. That's another part of the leadership aspect that I think that men don't do as well as we could.
For me, I would say it's the understanding, and then the consistency is what I look for. So if someone is not consistent, it's kind of hard for me to think that they understand, but they just don't care. So either way, I need to see you being consistent in what it is that we discuss, to really say that you was accountable for it. And if they bring it up to you, sometimes you gotta be patient. Sometimes people need time to process some things, and when you lay it out, it's nothing like when they come back and they apologize. But if they go back and still do same set behavior, it's just like, damn, motherfucker, you just don't. It's just hard for you to. It's hard to get through you, because sometimes women battle with change. It may be a people thing, but I don't deal with people. I deal with women most of the time. So, because the men that's in my life is they who they are. I don't have new people just coming in and out. But when you deal with women, the thing that I notice is that I think they want to, and they have good intentions, but sometimes it's just hard for them. It's like it's a battle that they're fighting, and sometimes you just gotta, okay, go ahead and fight your battle. It just
It's
won't be with
almost
me.
childlike.
I know you want to put them in that category as children, but
I was just bringing it. That's the callback. That's the callback from what we talking about tonight.
Yeah.
If I had that clip, I would have played it. That
You
nigga,
did?
that nigga, gay nigga. When you was like, I'll deal with mostly women most of the time. If I had the clip, I would have pressed it on you right there.
Oh yeah.
But you cleaned it up. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my definition is similar to Law and Humble Dead. It's acknowledging that you did something wrong. The outright apology it's hit or miss. If I'm looking for it, I get it, but I'm not really specifically looking for it. My thing is on the next go round, like y'all said, how the behavior, because I care about how your brain works, not so much what you're doing, but how you formulate the logic behind why you do what you do. And if I ask you to do something and you're doing it, and then you decide that you're gonna do something else just out the blue, you need to have better results than what I told you to do, or I'm gonna hold you completely accountable for everything moving forward. Now that you done went off track, and that could be the end of the relationship.
Yep.
So I'm gonna stand on that. I really will stand on that. Like, just you could be messing up and doing it wrong. If you was doing what I asked you to do and you did it wrong, because then I could say, well, shit, that's on me too.
Yeah.
I thought this was the solution and it didn't work, but you decided to do what you wanted to do, and you want me to share in them consequences? No, sir. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
About your business.
I think for us, it can be really simple, just acknowledgement and effort. Like, it doesn't even need to be a long, drawn out active service or trying to get crazy in a bedroom, anything like that. You just acknowledging, letting me know that what you did was, against the boundary, and going forward, you're going to try to change that. And an immediate action to try and change that is almost even better, because it's kind of you're showing immediate effort to you essentially trying to placate me, but at the same time, you letting me know you get the picture and we're not going to have to go back there again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Corey, I know you've been kind of quiet, Mira. I don't know if you want to add something to the conversation.
So is your question asking us ideally how do women take accountability? Like, how do we think they should, or how do they in reality?
I got a whole separate question for you, and then we're gonna get you on track, Khalil.
Let's go.
Why do men apologize more but feel less understood?
Say that one more time.
Why do men apologize more but feel less understood?
Because society tell us we supposed to be honest. It's almost like when you know the woman wrong, but you just not gonna argue with her because you know everybody else gonna call you a bitch ass nigga. So you just be like, all right, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You got it. My bad.
You talking about on the panels or like a relationship?
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about in general. I'm just talking about in general. If you have a disagreement with a woman, it could be in a relationship, your friend. You could have a platonic relationship. It could be your sister, anybody. Am I off? Is y'all not understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, who
No, I do. I was curious because I know, like, even on the panel, some stuff I'm not about to argue with. I'd be like, all right, yeah,
person that do you?
But in person, I'm not letting it go. Yeah, no, I was saying that on the panel, I'll let something go because one, these women not in my authority for real to even give a punishment that they would care about. But in person, yeah, I'm not about to allow the argument to occur. Like, one, we not arguing. You're gonna address me and talk to me with some respect and I to you. But,
well, yeah, okay, yeah. I wasn't
yeah.
talking in a perspective of a relationship. I was just
That's
talking
what I was
about,
trying to figure out.
yeah, I was just talking about in general. In a relationship, it's not. I'm not arguing. It's not no. We can have a conversation, but I'm not going back and forth. Like, I learned my lesson, bro. It's no point in arguing for real. Because even your girl not gonna call you a bitch ass nigga, but once you start doing a whole bunch of feminine shit, she not gonna even respect you. You going back and forth with her. Because the thing is, man, it sucks because men be tricked into the argument, and she trick you into the argument. But after you argue with her, she gonna perceive you as a bitch ass nigga. But she tricking you into the argument. It's almost like a test for real, and she don't even know she testing you. She just feel different about you afterwards. But yeah.
So that's dangerous, dog. I'm not gonna argue with any heifer just on GP. She's not worth it. I don't give a damn if she agree with me or not. You don't have to ever agree with me.
No, but see, when I was talking about when they say bitch ass nigga, when I say, like, I'm just talking about in general. How could I say this? You could have a disagreement. Say you're at work, or Yeah, somewhere. Say you at work. I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody. Just like perfect example. He was telling me, I live in Detroit. I'm gonna make it short. Him and his wife got a company. His wife wear a heart costume. Another lady in the city, she wear a heart costume and show up to people. Two totally different things. She hop in a DM talking crazy. I said, bro, that's a woman. You don't even got no. Don't even just. You know what I'm saying? Don't even do it. It don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? She talking crazy. Exit out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It could be something that don't have to do with no relationship. It could just be something that's out in the world. Men are just taught to say, you got it, you know, because you're gonna be perceived like a bitch ass nigga.
So hold on. You talking about some random woman jumps in your DM just start to argue with you?
Oh damn. Okay, I was trying to make it short, but all right, hold on. I said that there's a couple that owns a business in the city that I live in of Detroit. It's like a mascot business. She wears like a heart costume. There's another lady in the city that wears the heart costume also and shows up to people's event.
Yeah, I mean, so he was just basically telling his guy not to go respond to that person, the other person, right?
Did my internet go up?
No, I was saying you was basically saying, trying to tell your guy not to go respond to the other girl that was doing the same thing.
Just basically like I was telling him like she a girl, bro. Like don't worry about it. She gonna be worried about.
He wanted to go check her. He wanted to go check her for doing the same exact thing that what his girl was doing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. She was talking about she gonna sue them and all of that in a DM, calling them all type of names and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. She posting them. You know how that social media stuff go. You know how girls do it, bro. I'm like, man, just leave that shit alone. But that's just an example that I was trying to. And I'm sorry for making it long-winded. I ain't trying to. But that's an example of how in society, men just got to be like, you got it. Whether you apologize or not, you just retreat because it's you got it. I'm not gonna argue with you. Whether you forget about being called a bitch ass nigga. It's you got it. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. You got it. And psychologically, when men repeatedly do that to them, it can be perceived to them that they're right.
So the question was, why do men apologize more, but feel less?
I said it from the.
It's nothing with you. I was just repeating the question for the panel.
Okay.
So you doing exactly what you was telling your boy not to do.
Men apologize more. Because
why do men apologize more but feel less understood?
Men apologize more because it doesn't fucking matter as much. We just want you to change your behavior. You know what I'm saying? Going back to what I said. We apologize more. It's easy for us to be like, all right, cool, listen. Chill out. Stop doing this. We're going to do this. We're going to move past it because it's something minute. As a man, I feel like I have a whole lot more things that are more pressing and more important to me right now than to how you got an attitude. I'm a father of 4 with 3 daughters and I got a wife. That means I got 4 female attitudes in my household at any given time. You think I give a damn about what you mad at? Get over it. We're going to keep it moving. That's that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I will literally ignore your attitude until you decide it's over with. I will walk past you. You can have your attitude, this, that, and the other. It's not going to matter because I know you'll get over it, right? Because we have more important things that need to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? Like living each day with each other. My children, listen, y'all gonna get over it. Y'all might be mad now because whatever the hell, you broke a nail Tuesday. Guess what? You'll get over it by Wednesday. You dig what I'm saying? Like, those are not real problems that are going to really affect our overall being. So let's get back to what's important. You get over your attitude or your temporary problem, your temporary issue, and let's keep it moving. And I mean, it may sound callous, but it is what it is. That's just how I feel.
I'm sorry.
I know when I did this stuff, I apologize because I'm just tired of going back and forth. I ain't got time for this shit. I just want to be done and over with. I want to keep talking about this. It's obvious we've had to agree to disagree. It's obvious we can't get bypass this bullshit. So I'm just done talking. I'm apologize and keep it moving. Now, you know, get a little age on you, get a little season on you. You kind of move and operate differently now that I did then. We're gonna have the conversation, but okay, let's talk with cooler heads well. Because if not, I'm gonna say some shit I know I'm gonna regret later, and I ain't trying to do all that. So when you cool, I'm cool, and we can cool when talk respectfully, then let's have the conversation. Until then, let's just we're not gonna talk about it. Not until we are both ready and comfortable enough to have a respectful conversation. That's the mode I'm in now. Before I would just apologize and get shit over with. Because I don't want to stay up all night hearing you complain about the same bullshit that I don't agree with.
Yeah, so this is what I think the question is asking, is that why do men apologize more but feel less understood? I think that those things are not mutually exclusive, like they're not intertwined in that regard. A man apologizes, similar to what Hink said, to avoid the conversation or to get the conversation over with, right? So as a result, then that means that when you didn't have the conversation, right? So if we just getting it over with, then there is nothing to work out, to figure out. Yes, you may get over your feelings. However, this situation is going to happen again. And because it has not had a conversation about it, is going to occur again. Okay. So I would say that they would be mutually exclusive if the man had the conversation, if he apologized and then had the conversation, and then there was not a transition of change. Now I feel not understood, right? But if I'm apologizing and not having the conversation, then what is there for her to understand, right? So I'm saying to do what Hink said and what I said before. The number one reason why people get a divorce, I know I speak from a marriage mindset. So the reason why is typically communication, and why everything else fell by the wayside, even if it was infidelity, it was because of communication was not done effectively. So once again, the man don't need to say, oh, okay, never mind, right? You need to be like, okay, not right now. We need to come back to this conversation because both of us are not able to have this is hard for me, but this is what the right thing is to do, right? That we need to let cooler heads prevail, and then we need to come back and talk about how we can make this better and and not revisit the argument, but talk about what you could have done differently and what I could have done differently. And then you look to see what you said, JR, which is there consistency in the change that we talked about? And then I feel more, then that man would feel more understood. But if she rejects and is not consistent, then I can see why he feels misunderstood. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I never was one to really apologize at all. I didn't give a care. I didn't give a damn. Until I started to understand that people feel. So even though it may not be your intent, that doesn't negate the fact that they feel a certain type of way. And the only time this really matters is people that's under you, for whatever reason, whether you date, marriage, then you kind of factor those things in. You just not just factoring this in just for any and everybody, but people that you have a relationship with, whether it be work, marriage, kids, you have to listen to what it is that they saying because they feel a certain type of way. So my goal now is to try to get to the root of why they feel this way because they feel it for a reason. You may not intentionally be doing something, but that doesn't change the fact that they feel it. So then you go down the rabbit hole to trying to seek understanding. I also think that even though you apologize, there has to be some form of leadership at that point. You have to be able to continue to guide past the apology because you can apologize for whatever it is that they felt. And you say, well, it wasn't my intent, but you got to still be able to lead past that to be able to guide it a certain way because that's what's needed most of the time when you find yourself in those situations. Because I mean, people, you can't stop people from feeling. They're gonna feel what they feel. And that's why I think you have to kind of set the tone. I've been in conversations where I wanted to give up in the conversation. And I just want to say fuck it. Because I don't feel like dancing. But you got to get uncomfortable to be able to grow and be able to realize the importance of having great communication. You got to lead with communication because that's going to set the tone for how things need to go. So even though you may not feel comfortable, you still do it because logically it makes sense because of the outcome and the output. And sometimes it may look like this. It may look like coming back saying, hey, I know things are heated right now. And I said what I said, that's the way I feel. But the goal is for us to be able to come out like this. I heard what you said. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like what you said. I really want to kind of shut down and say I don't give a fuck. But you're important to me. You feel this way. I want to try to make sure you don't feel this way, and we kind of go from there. So you have to be able to take control and seize the moment when it comes to this communication barrier and try to see if you can kind of sort it through. So I don't mind apologizing. I don't give a fuck if I was wrong about something or if it was misunderstood. I ain't gonna apologize. This is a fucking apology. What the hell is that gonna do? But I think it has more impact than you realize because you acknowledge it. And so don't apologize. I think you apologizing and then saying why you apologize, I think it holds a little bit more weight. But see it all the way through because they don't just stop there. There's a lot of things to really unpack in a direction that this conversation needs to go. So you got to be able to see it through. And sometimes you may not understand the meaning of it until you actually see it through. Because then I think you can control the ending. At the end of that conversation or that disagreement, you guys should still be on some type of page. Like y'all shouldn't be off the grid. Y'all shouldn't be going to bed mad. Y'all shouldn't be. You make sure that you redirect that and you be consistent with that because you don't. I think it's up to you. You can't. If you're gonna be a leader, you got to understand that this shit falling on your ass. Goddamn it! Like you got to be able to see it all the way through, and you don't understand the respect level. It shouldn't even be a thought whether you should do this or not. It's just got to be done because you can't count on this person to see it through it, especially if you take on that leadership role. There's no second thought. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna lead us, and this is the outcome that's gonna be. And you got to be able to stand on that shit.
Let's go, P. I like that.
You need to clip that. You need to clip that. I'll expect that soon.
Yeah. Let's go, bro. I like that.
Yeah.
And I agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. I agree. You know what I'm saying? You know, we get in our we tend to get a little emotional with each other. You know what I'm saying? And drop off from speaking to each other for months, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't always agree. But that's something that I can absolutely agree on. You know what I'm saying? We do need to do. Is kind of take a step back, listen to each other, and see what's to it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The thing is that I tell people I'm human. I feel shit too. You don't think it's been times that I want to go off? You don't think it's been times I want to slap a motherfucker?
Like when, bro? Tell us about it.
Hey, these are just feelings, man. But I'm saying because we human. But I think before you get out of your body, I think you got to control it. And that's where the discipline comes, and that's where the growth happens, is because you understand that you do feel these things, but you're going to make sure that you don't have to come back you don't want to make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I say ask questions. And people know if you talk to me, I'm gonna ask some more questions. I'm gonna try to get as much data input as I can before I look like a damn fool. You don't want to.
I done called you on multiple occasions when I done had some of my toughest, online situations. I'm like, hey, bro, what you think? You dig what I'm saying? So I get it, bro.
I mean, those impulse decisions, you got to think about, can you come back from this? And some things you can't come back if you're acting off impulse. So that's why I kind of think things do. But I tell my son, and I'm gonna end it with this and play a little bit more clip, and then we get up out of here. But I tell my son, it's okay to feel, but it's important on where the energy goes after that feeling, because you don't want to do something that you're gonna regret, something that you got to apologize for when you knew better. You don't want to jump the gun, look like that damn fool. I'd rather you sit back and collect data like the FBI. That's what the FBI do. FBI, I've seen you do some shit, but let me get as much as I can before I nail your ass. And that's the way that you got to be. If you're gonna act, at least get the most information as you can before you respond, before you act, and then I think you could be a little bit more cocky in that moment. But if you're just acting off of every little thing, off impulse, it's like you're gonna find yourself in look like a damn fool. You're gonna be called a simp. You're gonna be called controller. You're gonna be called argumentative. The list goes on. So be patient in the moments, and you would get a lot more information. Be silent. You can still feel. You can collect the data. You can think certain things, but just collect it and then come to your conclusion. That's one of the best advice that I can give somebody.
It is.
All right. Here we go.
Apology look like? Is it I'm sorry? Is it I apologize?
We can start with that. I think the men around the world would love to just start with that. Before we get past that, can we get some stuff?
Apology looks like changed behavior.
Thank you. Come on,
Apology
Trill,
looks
that's what
like
I
me
was
not
looking
having
for.
to tell you the same thing 10 times in a row. And that's why I don't believe in the not holding women accountable just because we're the leaders. It's no different than running a business. I may be the CEO, you may be the janitor. You got to do your job, but as business suffers. Marketing, advertising, I need you to do your job. Yes, I'm the leader of this company, but I need you to do your job. If you don't, the business suffers. And if you don't do your job, I'm gonna hold you accountable by firing your ass and bringing somebody in who will. So we gotta hold people accountable, and we gotta stop being like so shy to do it. Again, stop getting swayed by tears. Stop getting swayed by her raising her voice or withholding sex and all of that bullshit. Cause like, again, they only use it because it works. So as a man, like you gotta practice some kind of like, okay, cool, that's perfectly fine. But when you're ready to talk, when you're ready to be mature adults, I'll be here waiting on you. But men don't do that.
But
And
here's
we let it
the
run
biggest
amok.
problem with apologies. There's multiple, it's actually 5, but 2 of the main ones. One is change behavior, and the other one is acknowledging what they did wrong, right? A lot of women don't necessarily know how to apologize to you in particular. She may know how to apologize to another person because sometimes, like you said, change behavior, she won't apologize. She'll just listen to what you said and she just won't do it again. That might not be good enough for you. You might want her to acknowledge what she did wrong because that makes you feel good because sometimes with us men, our feelings or how we feel about anything, they never get acknowledged. They just get ignored. But if the woman only knows to change her behavior, you still feel unseen as a man, and that's a problem with men. So we have to let women know, to a certain degree, teach our women how to love and acknowledge us, because men don't get acknowledged enough. But women aren't trained to acknowledge men. They'll just change.
You got it, go ahead.
I want to follow up though. Change behavior. I agree. In the long form, right? Because a lot of the things that you have an issue with, some of these things are ingrained habits that don't change overnight. And so what'll happen is you'll find somebody needs to apologize multiple times because, hey, I've been living this part of my life this way for 35 years. I haven't thought of this in the way in which you want me to. So even though we had this conversation and I apologize, I meant it, that conversation. But if 2 weeks later I happen to do a similar thing, you get what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think that it makes that apology I'm offering now
null and void.
Null and void because, hey, it's gonna take me a little bit longer to actually solve this for you. You agree with that though?
Problem is the little bit longer. There's a lot of gray area in that, and it opens the door for enabling the behavior to continue.
Okay.
So again, the conversation every time you violate is gonna be a little harsher until we get to that point.
But is that fair?
Yes.
You think so?
I think that's part of what you was mentioning. I kind of reference it as internal self-reflection. Like, yeah, the apology comes, but I need an explanation. Like when she did give me the apology and we both apologized to each other many times, there's always a period. We'll sit with it for a few hours, a day if need be, and really think about where I could have fucked up, where she could have fucked up, and when she give me the apology, she's breaking down point A to Z of why she feel like she may have made a misstep. And now we able to have a conversation. I'm able to give input or verify, like, yeah, this is what kind of threw me the wrong way. And now we got context on how to actually shift the culture, because that's what we really asking for. When it comes to a head and somebody needs to apologize, there's usually some type of infraction in the culture not being aligned. So I'm asking you to develop something different that, like you said, you may have never had in your relationship history that does need to come with a certain amount of grace. It's been things that took me 6 months to a year to like get completely right. But with the grace, with the conversations, with the internal self-reflection, we was able to get there, and vice versa.
And White, I'm coming to you, sir. Why is acknowledging the mistake so important?
You can't repair something if you're unaware of the thing that's broken, what it is. That's why I was speaking to the logic. Because somebody can be sorry that they hurt you, or sorry that you feel that way, or sorry in a multitude of different ways. The issue is the way you got to that process. And if you don't understand what you did wrong and why you did it, then it's a good chance you'll keep repeating it. But if you understand the nature of, hey, this hurt you because I did X, Y, Z, you not only can solve that issue, but you can solve the surrounding variances of that same issue, because the root of it will all be the same. Like, my husband find it disrespectful if I don't know, if a man from the job called me after 6 p.m. about something that's not work related. Now that applies to all type of other scenarios. You're like, well, it's disrespectful to call my house after this hour. And that could just unilaterally apply. It won't just be that one person calling or that one. You've understood the thought process. He says, once you get home at 6, your time is with the family, and we don't need all these outside interferences. And that's how we move it. And if that's a standard, for example, if that's a standard that he has, then it solves a lot of other surrounding issues just based off of that. Your girlfriends probably won't even call you to come out and kick it at certain hours. Like, you don't even really want to get on the phone past 6. So I know she's not coming to the club with me. You know what I'm saying? It'd be, I don't necessarily do the 6 p.m. thing, but I'm giving that as an example of how understanding the thought process can stop somebody from having the surrounding issues or different variations of the same problem that they just got to keep apologizing for. Oh, I thought you meant when he called this issue. You mean when most people call? Like, yeah, if it's not part of our family or your family, my family, and I don't want them calling at after work hours, then you know what I'm saying? Whatever that thing is, though, it's the logic behind how you got there that's important.
Okay. Law. Is changing behavior alone enough for an apology?
So I think changing behavior is good if it's sustainable, right? But if it comes back 2-3 months and you change your behavior, but then you pop back up with that same type of mentality, now there's a problem, right? You have to be able to change the behavior for a sustained amount of time. You have to show me it's actually different. Because if you show me for a short amount of time that the behavior is different, then you pop back up with that same type of mentality, now we have a problem because nothing has changed. You dig what I'm saying? So I think it's really, if you're going to change the behavior, you have to make sure that you change the mentality and the operating on it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep trying to play along with the game and it rears its ugly head, then now that's a problem. So change that behavior first. For me, changing behavior comes first than changing words. You can say what you want. Show me you different. Show me you've changed it. You know what I'm saying? If you show me you've changed it, I can take that a little bit more to heart than I can the words that you told me.
All right. DJ, I'm coming to you. Is the issue bad communication or bad listening?
I would say throughout the plethora of things that we talked about tonight, bad communication, because we talked about before not setting the boundaries up front, not being willing to walk away, placating to a woman's emotions in order to be efficient, or just backing up from the situation in order to be efficient about getting it over with. So it's better for us to just delve in the uncomfortableness of the communication in order to solve the problem for the future instead of just putting a band-aid on it and coming back to it over and over again, because it's only going to fester more irritation. I do understand the reasoning for stepping back, because you want to be cooler. You don't want to be looked at as a bitch ass nigga or an emotional man, or somebody that doesn't have any impulse control. You want to be able to be looked at as somebody that's in control and has respect. So it's kind of a fine line, but I would say that it is a communication issue more than anything.
Cool, it's on you.
All right, so
I got a question for you.
I'm listening.
Is the apology real or just the end of the argument?
Say that one more time. My bad, bro.
Is the apology real or just the end of the argument?
It depends on the argument, the person. Yeah, it just depends on what the argument is and the person and the time it is. Sometimes it could be real. Sometimes it could be the end of the argument. Depends on what the argument is over. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even say it's majority one way or the other. I would just say it depends. Could I say something on the video though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rhetorical question: are we just conforming to the way women are nowadays, or are we? I won't say trying to be like men were, but are we wanting to bring traditional values and then wanting women to consider our feelings? Because it's like, look, man, if you can get a woman that is on your program, all of that, I feel like, I mean, as men amongst each other, yeah, we could talk about that. But in my mind, she's just a girl, man. If I'm doing everything I need to do, and she's not doing what she needs to do, it's cool. We could dead that. We could leave her alone. But as far as going back and forth and arguing or trying to debate, or even, how could I put it? I don't want to say talking about it, because we can talk about it. But it just seems like men just want to conform to the way women are nowadays instead of staying the way we know men should be and letting women conform back to us. It's like men just like, okay, yeah, we just gonna be like how they want us to be. Yeah, we want you to care about our feelings. I want you to explain it this way and that way. Like, no, man, as long as she cooking and cleaning like you need her to do, we can have these conversations. I don't need to explain my no, she don't gotta. Why do I expect her to apologize like a man? You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking no shots at anybody on the panel. I can't remember exactly who said what, but I'm just saying, why would I expect her to apologize like a man? To me, that's asking her to have the accountability like a man. To me, it's almost like paying bills, asking her to pay half of the bills. Now, if that's your shindig, that's cool, but we gotta expect women to be women because they want us to be men. And as long as we expect more out of them, they gonna always look at men like we subpar, even though we know we not. That's just a perception of how it is. So I think we should just let girls be girls. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. If she don't want to apologize, as long as she's doing what she need to do and she apologizing like a woman does, that's cool.
What is apologizing like a man? What is that?
Explain it. You know how man be, hey, look, bro, I know I said that. I apologize. That was my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying earlier, the woman most likely is not going to say what she did wrong. She's going to change the behavior. You know what I'm saying? And it was people saying, well, I want, even on a video, I want you to tell me, I want you to explain to me what you did wrong and how you know you're wrong. Like, come on, man. stop asking for more out of women because that's why they expect less out of us. Because we asking for more out of them. She don't know how to apologize. It's cool. That's so. If that's your woman and if that's your woman and she respects you, that's cool. Now if she being disrespectful, kick her to the curb. But if she don't know how to apologize and she just being a woman, that's cool. All this extra accountability on women, they don't got it. They've never had it.
So the reason I can't agree with that, man. So talking about she don't know how to apologize. Well, she got to learn, and that's my job to teach the heifer how to goddamn apologize. Man, look, you're not just gonna say I'm sorry and not tell me why you sorry. You could be sorry for you raising your goddamn voice at me. That's some bullshit. No, you sorry for what? What the hell did you do that you had to apologize to me for? That's what I make sure you need to acknowledge. Now, if y'all take the stands of women or children, I know that's what I do with my kids. I know that's what I do. So no, don't just say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. No, why? Why are you apologizing? Just like I tell my son when I was whooping his goddamn ass, son, the reason I'm whooping your ass because you did this, this, and this. I need for you not to repeat this same act, or you're gonna get this ass whooping again. And don't be upset when you get this ass whooping again, or you're on punishment, or whatever the case may be. I need to know.
I agree with you.
Be sorry for. Don't just be saying sorry just to be saying sorry. Because then you disingenuous. I don't take you serious. You just saying the bullshit to just try to shut me down and get me done over now bullshit. Why?
No, I agree with you, Hank. But just like you said, like with my child, I'm gonna ask and say what you sorry for. Just like when you with your girl, you gonna have them conversations with your girl. Be like, hey, you know what you did? That right there, yeah, that's what you sorry for. Yeah, that. But you gotta bring that out of them. It's not gonna be like a man when a man come to you and be like, hey, bro, I did this, my bad, dog. It's not gonna be like that. You're gonna have to. I'm not gonna say you're gonna have to, but most of the time when you're dealing with your girl, you're gonna have to be like, hey, this is what it is. This is what you did wrong. That's what it is. You apologizing for that. That's the personal conversation you having with your girl. Now we're just talking about in general conversations, but the personal conversation you having with your girl, yeah, you're gonna put that on her, but you still have to put that on her. She's not gonna come out and say, like, oh, this is what I did wrong. I did it at this time a day, at this second. I know what I did. I apologize. She's not gonna say it like that unless you bring it up out of her, just like a child. And I'm saying that's how women have always been, and trying to ask women to have this level of accountability. It's now asking them to just raise their bar up or raise their level up like they feel like they already have been doing, instead of just taking this shit like a man, instead of knowing like this how she is, and pick the girl that worked for you. Now we shouldn't be tolerating no disrespectful women, so that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that knowing that a girl is a girl, and a girl just gonna be a girl and just be men. You know what I'm saying?
Coel, how do you teach
by the fact you calling a girl makes you sound like a child. I'm dealing with a grown ass woman, so I know you may think it's semantics.
Not semantics. That's definitely semantics, bro. That's semantics.
But that's I'm definitely, yeah, because when you
it's a saying. It's a saying like on social media, like girl, they be like, I'm just a girl. That's why I say it like that.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. You're a grown ass woman, so I expect you to move and operate as such. Look.
If I gotta pay your bills, you're not grown to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I pay for my wife's bills, and she's grown as hell.
If I gotta pay your bills and protect you and feed you, shit.
So Coel, how do you teach a woman?
Well, hold on, Mark. Let me finish first. Let me finish first. So, by the first or the second time that me telling you how to apologize to me, and that's how I receive it, then I shouldn't have to say it no more. If she has to apologize again, now she knows. I shouldn't have to repeat on how to apologize. You know what you did wrong. You need to explain to me exactly. And guess what? When I do that, I'm gonna do that for you. I'm a act and move the same way. I'm gonna treat you the same way that I expect to be treated. And if I had to teach you that, now by the time you're my wife, I'm sure we already had fallouts before then, and you already know how to apologize. If I'm still teaching you this when I consider you my wife, then I'm in trouble. I didn't. No, I made a bad investment. I invested to a hard-headed ass woman, and that's shame on me for doing that. But you
we
want to
agree,
know
bro.
prior to.
No, we agree, bro. We
Okay.
definitely I agree with you on that.
I thought we had a difference, but I got you.
No, I agree with you on that. My M White, what was you saying, bro?
Yeah, so I was so my thing is I view every potential scenario as a point of learning. So I'm not trying to accuse her the way I would talk to a man. I'm trying to raise her understanding of what I think is the correct process. That's why I say I'm interested in how her brain works, how she came to her logical point that this was a good decision. So I'm actually gonna have a full conversation with her to discuss, like, why do you think this is okay? And then from there, if the issue, like, use it for example, the dress, right? If she wearing a too short dress and she wore it out to work or something, I'm like, hey, I have an issue with this. Oh, my bad. Then I would say, why do you think that's acceptable? Then it would explain, like, I just always wore. Then I would go into, hey, as a protection measure, I wouldn't want you walking around with, half your ass out. I don't trust men to be XYZ, and anything can happen. I want to minimize the things that's going to have to pull me out of retirement and get me on some savage shit. So I need you to understand that and help me do that. Woo. So do you understand that? She like, yeah. So if the situation came up, she like, I'm not wearing that because, and she has all the logic in how she got to that point because she got it from me.
No, I totally understand exactly what you're saying. You're right. But like I said before, that's with your woman. And again, you're still teaching her like a child, bro. You feel me? And the thing is, in my thing, we always want humans to be better, men, women included. So we want women to be better. How we feel, how men view women, we think women should be like that. Just how women think men should be strong, be protectors, and all like that. We got more important things to worry about than women taking accountability. You know what I'm saying? They need to want to be wives and be mothers, you know what I'm saying, and have children. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to have to force accountability down their throat. You know what I'm saying? We got young men that still need to learn accountability. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like when we talk about this accountability thing, it's almost like, that's not really a woman trait in the first place. And it's like we could focus that energy somewhere else. Because you know what I'm saying? If we focus that energy somewhere else, I think that accountability will come with it, because it'll come with stronger men that'll teach them the accountability part. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll lead to stronger men in relationships and stronger fathers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I think it's necessary, because one of the things that is the benefit of me teaching my wife and walk, because if I'm not saying
I'm not disagreeing with you though. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna make a tangential point then. Because one of the things I've talked to men in the past, and they'll be like, I'm not teaching her all that. She should already know. 90% of them, not you, but 90% of the men who say she should already know usually end up in a divorce or
them niggas have no clue.
Well, you better teach her.
You have to teach. You have to
know.
And learn a way to teach that makes sure that the message is resonating with her. So she is not just she learns something, but she actually understands the why. Understanding that why is the potential to create another.
The why is the biggest
that
hurdle.
why in your children. My woman needs to know the why, so my kids can know the why. So the things I'm trying to protect from can be unilaterally. I hate having to repeat myself and go over and over. So I would prefer really to teach somebody something that they can also teach, or make a better mini leader or mini. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try and do it right once. That's just my process. Not to say you were saying something different.
No, facts. I definitely understand what you're saying. Yeah, you should be comfortable teaching your woman because you're her leader. You're supposed to be able to teach her. That's the stair step. That's the level of the relationship. Father, God, husband, wife, child. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to teach her like she teach the kids. You get your knowledge from the higher power. She get her knowledge from you. The kids get their knowledge from her. It's simple, man. If people really follow it, I ain't talking about the Bible, but if people follow just the regular stuff that was laid out, man, it's there, man. We just confused nowadays.
Just a question to that. if we are not expecting accountability from an adult woman, are we then lowering the bar and kind of going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, as far as taking it easy on a woman that reinforces the behavior that we don't want?
No, because families 100 years ago were way stronger, and women wasn't taking no accountability, my guy. They couldn't even vote, bro. They may have been working in villages, they may have been working cleaning up people's houses, but they didn't have no accountability. They couldn't even get a credit card, bro. They couldn't have no debt. They didn't have no accountability at all. You know what I'm saying? They may have some. I ain't gonna say at all, because people like to take shit literal on the internet.
Women in the past, you believe had, or you say have less accountability than today?
What I mean by that, I mean they were not expected to take accountability as a man. If she did something out there in the street, they were gonna be like, "Oh, where's your husband at?" If she went out there and bought something or accrued some debt, her husband or her father was responsible for that debt. You know what I'm saying? They weren't accountable. They really didn't have to have accountability. They could say, "Oh, something happened to me," and that was that. It was no fact checking. It was no nothing. They didn't have to have accountability. And my point of saying that is saying that families were stronger back then. So we don't have to worry about women having, we shouldn't be trying to teach women to have accountability, because that's not a feminine trait. Is what I'm saying. We need to be teaching women how to be better mothers and better wives, and teaching men better accountability, so the fathers can be in a household and teaching their sons better accountability. That's not a feminine trait. Teaching accountability is not really a feminine trait.
Okay, then I would ask.
I agree with that.
I disagree with you.
I mean, I don't believe in accountability having a sex or gender or nothing like that. No, hell no.
So I would just ask this question, as far as just comparing the two timelines. Would the force of marriage, as in a shotgun marriage, be requiring a woman to take accountability? And shotgun marriages, we obviously understand, normally happen after somebody get pregnant, right? Wouldn't that be a form of having her take accountability, or no?
Yes, a form.
Okay.
I agree. But see, my thing is, people saying it's a human trait. See, and people kill me because people want to say like, "Oh, that's not a male trait, or that's not a feminine trait, that's not a masculine trait." Okay, man. Then when it's time to pay bills, say the same shit, man. We ain't trying to hear that. I live in a real world. We're not about to deal with the internet shit, man. For real.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to go ahead and get ready to close on out, gentlemen. Let me get to these super chats and get up out of here. DJ Fresh making this shoe on the panel. We speak with women as if they are probable victims. Brother, $5 super sticker. Brother again, 99-cent super sticker. UNC be streaming. Apologizing isn't for men. It's for adults. UNC again, $2. So we supposed to ask them to be grown. UNC again, this is coddling of adult women. It's pathetic. UNC again, so all those degrees and women don't know words.
Hold on, JR. If you want submission from your girl, you're gonna have to coddle her, gang. Sorry, bro.
Okay. What? So apologizing is quantum physics for women now. So now accountability is gender specific. Wow. And lastly, again, $2. He's confusing accountability with responsibility. Who are you talking about? You talking about you, Coyle?
You said what?
He was talking about you.
What happened?
No, man.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, I was just responding. I'm just saying, he was just saying we want to coddle women. I'm saying, bro, you gotta coddle a girl. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna take care of her, you gotta coddle her. It is what it is. Don't expect too much from her. Coddle her. If she gonna make you your food, eat, give you your head like you want it. You know what I'm saying? Coddle her. That's your baby girl. That's your woman. So hell, coddle her.
Do you take the stance that women are children?
For the most part, yeah. For the most part.
Okay. All right.
Lock his ass up. Lock his
Do
ass
do
up.
women
Whoa. You're
that
going to jail. You're going to jail.
What the fuck? Yo, that's crazy. That's wild. You can't do that on the internet, dog. What the fuck? What
Don't
the
lock
fuck?
your ass up talking this crazy shit.
do
God
women that
damn,
we
cool.
consider as children largely become wives?
You said what?
Do women that we would consider as childlike largely become wives?
Yes,
just a
bro.
question.
Because I'm not really talking about. See, when when I say that, I'm not talking about women that literally. Oh my gosh, what would I? Da, 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 da. I'm not talking about that. You know them annoying girls that act like children that don't know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in a sense to where you meet your girl. Fast forward timeline, you marry her. You're taking care of the bills. You're taking care of the home. You're protecting and providing for her. That's literally your dependent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're teaching her, you're showing her the way of the world, you know what I'm saying? And you're introducing her to new things. She's not literally a child, but you're treating her like a child. If somebody touch her, you're going to beat them up.
And what is that? What is her?
Bro, niggas just pressing buttons, bro. What the hell? Bro, niggas just pressing buttons. How the fuck is that gay?
Nah, I'm just saying. So, like, at what point did you realize that she wasn't the one that was just using you for such things? You dig what I'm saying? Like,
well, hold on. See, now, well, that's two different conversations, bro. Now, if you would a girl that's just using you, that's on you. That's on your vein.
Oh my God.
You went as far as saying like she did this, did that, did this, did that. That's what I'm asking. Like,
what you mean? What you mean? Did what?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really putting on for you to pay such bills, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm asking is, at what point did you realize, all right, this might not be the one for you?
Well, when she starts doing things that when she starts doing.
Take me off.
Bro, niggas is playing games, bro. I'm not no clown, bro. Who the fuck is doing that, dog?
No, I don't want it. I do not want it.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. Stop it, bro.
Well, you gotta let it happen. You gotta let it happen, Coel.
Man, but like I'm saying, bro. Fuck,
Yeah.
man. What was you
Y'all confuse my man. Boy, y'all ain't shit, man. Leave my man alone. He, Boy, I just hold on, dog.
Hold on, no, bro, because I really had something to say, bro. That shit.
Go ahead, bro.
Off,
Go
man.
ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Fuck, dog. Excuse my language. Sorry.
Hey, Coel, are you high?
No, I mean I always smoke, but that's not the shit. That shit threw me off.
It ain't got nothing to do with it.
I'm really just trying to think about the last thing he just said. That shit threw me off, bro. I apologize.
Well, I'll ask it again, then maybe that'll help you.
Nigga, I don't even remember what I asked at this point.
Bro, you been smoking?
Oh my God.
Nah, I don't think I smoked earlier, but I've been, you know what I'm saying? So,
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. But
I'm just having a good time with my peoples, man. Just having a good time with my peoples, and
right.
Yeah, I forgot where I was at with it, to be honest. I just want to have a good conversation, man. Let's see what we get.
But see okay, I think that's what it was. You just got a teacher, bro. That's it, bro. That's it, bro. Niggas got me.
I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? That's probably literally what I was leaning towards, is you got to teach them. I'm not going to play all these games and give all these open invitations to ideas. For me, it's more so of this what I said, answer it yes or no. I'm not giving all these open-ended questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know how you feel. Is this something that you feel, yes or no? I don't want to give open-ended because that can end. That can never end. That can just keep going and going and going. So I'm very, I try and be very particular about it.
Is it something that you can feel? Yes or no?
If I control the question, you know what I'm saying? If I control the question and I only give you the opportunity for a yes or no answer, then yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to leave it open-ended so you can talk in circles and never really come back to it. Give me a yes or no answer to said question. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, man, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Who's that laughing? Somebody frozen?
I'm frozen and laughing.
Okay. I'm going to close out, man. Appreciate you, DJ Freshmaker, for pulling up, man. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, brothers, for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm a longtime fan of the show, and just glad to see all the growth that's going on, man. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, pull up next time, man. We'll love to have you.
No doubt.
All right. Coel, as always, brother, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. All right.
So I don't know why I'm froze. Like, what happened? What'd I do?
I have no idea. Make sure you hit the like button on y'all way out. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all enjoy y'all holiday. If I don't see you tomorrow, we are going live tomorrow. So if you want to tap in, tap in. And no Thursday show. Until next time, we see you.